As we've already mentioned in this course, before writing your code, you should first think about what it is you want to program and how you're going to develop your program. In software engineering terms, software design should precede software implementation. Software design involves describing all aspects of the software to be built, such as the user interface and the functionality of the software. The user interface is the means in which the user interacts with or controls the software application. Graphical user interfaces are particularly popular as they make it easier, more intuitive and pleasant to use the software applications. It is worth spending some time on the design of the user interface of your programs in Scratch. This includes thinking about the main characters of your program, such as the sprites and their costumes, the background, and any other elements to be used, such as buttons and instructions for the user. Some questions to ask here are: what should this element look like? Where should it be positioned? When does it appear or disappear? It's also important to think about how the user will interact with the program you're building. For example, is pressing the green flag all that is needed? Is the user going to be pressing keys, for example, to control an object? Is the user going to be using the camera? And what if he or she doesn't have a camera? Finally, you should consider how easy it is for a new user to interact with your program. For instance, is it clear what is expected from him or her? Can the user easily guess how to interact with the program? It's a good idea to aim for simple interfaces. These make it easier for the user to interact with your program, and you can always enrich them later on if you need to. Another tip for you is to draw quick sketches of the interface on paper. This helps you visualize things and spot mistakes, and it's also a very useful reference point when building your interface. Similarly, before writing your code, you should design it on paper. This includes breaking your problem down in smaller parts and writing down algorithms in text, flowcharts or pseudocode. Breaking a problem down in smaller parts is one of the most important concepts in computing, and it is key to successful software engineering. It is also known as decomposition or divide and conquer. The main idea here is that when you want to develop a complex program, you can simply break it down into sub-problems, and each of these can be further decomposed into different parts, and so forth, until you're left with program parts for which you can easily come up with an algorithm. Your code design is the equivalent of an architect's plan for a house, as you'll find out in this unit's expert interview. The entire program is captured in the design, split in different parts. In fact, each of these parts could be built by different programmers, and the final software would still work. So far in this course, we've discussed different examples of designing programs before implementing them, including the programs for Sunny Day and the movie. It is now time to design and implement an interactive game where we get to use our camera.